You are aware, this is the MindMaze reading series hosted by Raw Paw Press, and you're at Malvern. Is this anyone's first time at Malvern?
Ow!
Nice. Well, Malvern is simply put one of the best bookstores in town, if not the best. This is an entire wall of poetry. I always like pointing that out because you're not going to find that any other bookstore. This is National Poetry Month, the whole month of April, and during this month, all of these books, 20% off. Please take advantage of that.
Along with being National Poetry Month, it is a big time for poetry in Austin. Starting tomorrow, we kick off a 4-day festival that happens all over the city, Austin International Poetry Festival, or AIPF. Malvern is, of course, involved in that. So check the schedule, it's aipf.org, and there will be several readings that you can show up to, that you can sign up last minute and be a part of, and that's the same for, I think, every bookstore in town.
Pretty much, yeah.
But again, aipf.org, more information there. It is $25 to register, but I mean, it's pretty much a free event. It is open to the public. And I just highly encourage you to check it out. I wouldn't be standing in front of you if it wasn't for AIPF. It is how I got involved in the literary world. So if that's something you're looking to do, it is a great entryway in.
As I mentioned earlier, there are free tickets on the table back there to see Nikki Giovanni. If you don't know the name Nikki Giovanni, you should. She's one of the nation's leading
poets and activists
and critics, and
there should be none of these on that table back there when we leave. This is an invaluable piece of paper.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Like, it is going to be probably one of the best poetry readings you could possibly go to this month. So check that out. Also, something else we usually forget to do. This is A.R. Rogers.
Hi, and this is Wade Martin.
And A.R. is going to be reading at another Austin International Poetry Festival reading this Saturday from 1 to 3. So if you think, like, who are these people and do they know anything about poetry, you can hear A.R. reading here on Saturday. You can also go to Round Top, which is a small town about an hour and a half east of here. To hear Sharon Olds, Richard Blanco, Laura Van Pruin, Carrie Fountain, Ellen Bass. Yeah.
So that is another weekend-long poetry festival that is not this weekend, but next weekend in Round Top.
Right.
Round Top, a little bit more pricey, not so centrally located as it is in a different city, but something you should. Hello, Ed. Something you should definitely check out. There's lots of poetry happening.
Again, I mean, just like Nikki Giovanni, they're all on the same level. Like, you're not going to get the opportunity many points in your life to hear that many nationally recognized artists in one place for an entire weekend for the price of some very expensive soda.
But if you're not looking to read and you just want to submit your work, Rawpaw is still accepting submissions, yes?
Yep.
That's rawpawatx.com. You can check that out. And they're looking for submissions for the alien-themed zine. So if any of your work can fit underneath that umbrella, however you want to interpret that, send it to them.
Yeah, if you're going to other poetry events, if you're taking workshops at the IPF, if you're at a reading like this and you get inspired, send some stuff in. You've got until May 1st, so no reason not to. On April 24th, over at Spider House, there's going to be a release for Chipper Jones, band in town, like nice 7-inch thing. Rawpaw is a huge thing, but they also do music, and so that's why I'm telling you about that. Let's see. And every once in a while we host these like writing potlucks, basically. It's a really great way to get to know more about Rawpaw and just like hang out around a campfire and read poems, and it's just really cool, and everyone's always invited to those. So again, hit us up for more information about that later, and feel free to come out. That's how I got involved with this whole thing. So I think that's...
Put your name in that little ugly plastic cup over there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the reading, we will draw, and the lucky winner will get some Rawpaw goodies. I think Wade and I are always excited to be hosting this reading and to bring you the poets that we have curated. But tonight is particularly special. We have 3 amazing poets for you, and I'm so glad you're here, and you all look beautiful. And I'll let Wade introduce our first reader.
Yeah, we look forward to this every month. Like, as soon as this is done, we're just going to be like, wow, I can't wait until next month. We feel so fortunate. Our first reader for the evening is Ryan Sharp. He runs the writer studio at Houston Tillotson. There's a lot of talented people doing things under his direction over there. He's the editor of Borderlands, which is a great literary review. If you've not heard of Borderlands, check it out. There are most likely copies here. He got an MFA from Pacific University, lived up in like the Oregon region for a while, so automatically he's cool. And he's currently studying poetry and poetics at UT. He's been published in poetry and reviews of poetry, not just poetry. Guy like reviews poetry stuff. Berkeley Poetry Review, Rio Grande Review, Silk Road, and Pink. I first met Ryan years ago at a Borderlands reading, and he's been involved with Round Top before. He gives a lot. He gives a lot of himself to the poetic community. But I got lucky a few months ago to hear him read at Bookwoman, and I was just blown away. Like, amazing. It reminded me of like Derek Walcott. Just rhythm and style, and anyways, your mind's about to be blown. Or as James Brown would say, building, are you ready? Because we're about to tear it down. Ryan Sharp.
I don't know what to do. It's funny because Borderlands usually does their launches here, so I'm usually kind of trying to give that kind of introduction. So to be introduced like that is kind of, I feel like out of my element. That's when I sit here and smile and take it in for a second. Also, quick announcements, kind of like what you guys, we're also going to do, Borderlands is going to do their launch, I think it's May 2nd here at 3 o'clock, and so if you're looking for other things to participate in, poetry stuff, that's going to be great. Our featured poet is Celeste Guzman Mendoza. That issue particularly has a special section for Cantamundo poets, so there'll be some of them reading as well. We haven't solidified all the readers, but it's going to be fantastic. Yeah. And then our submission window is open for the next month or so, and so if you're looking for a place to send poems, you can go to borderlands.org and find our submittable link. Click there, send us 3 to 5 poems, and we'd love to read them. So to my poetry. I'm gonna read some selections from 2 different projects I've been kind of toiling over for the last year or so, a couple of years. The first few poems are from a project I've been calling The 3 Brothers, and they kind of stem from a conversation I had with my 2 brothers, while we were kind of drinking and playing at a putt-putt golf place in Portland, Oregon. And my brother told a story about my father that kind of changed the narrative that I'd always told myself and always told other people. That I just wasn't privy to, and it made me think about this idea of us having collective experiences, but all being owning different parts of the truth and from different angles. And so that's where this first poem really comes from, which is called Rubbing the Elephant, which kind of plays off of the parable of the blind man and the elephant. So, rubbing the elephant. 3 brothers are blind men groping an elephant. The first says the elephant's skin is our father's ashy elbows. The second says the elephant has ingenue eyelashes like our mother, while the third feels that the elephant's substance lies in its heavy middle. The first then asks, where is our sister? No one knows. In the hours they spend rubbing truths from the elephant, they never allow their hands to touch. I should say that I kind of love constraints in writing, and so you'll kind of see that there's a similar rhetorical structure in these 3 poems. There's always 2 brothers that say something, and another brother that feels something, and then a question about kind of an absent sister. This one's called The Enormous Hole. 3 brothers sit in a room with an enormous hole in the wall. It is very cold. The first brother says, we should do something about the hole in the wall. It is very cold. Weeks later, the second says, we should do something about the enormous hole in the wall. It has frozen our mother. Months pass. The third feels the hole in the wall is what chased away their father. The first asks, can anyone see our sister through the hole in the wall? After spending the better part of their 20s observing the hole in the wall, the brothers decide to give it a name. Folding paper. This one kind of most directly kind of recalls the story that my brother told that changed things for me and made me start thinking about our biography in a different fashion. It's called Folding Paper. 3 brothers are at the kitchen table folding memories like paper into birds. The first says, I will fold the memory of us up too late watching Arsenio flash his immense teeth into a white loon hovering over green water. The second says, I will make the image of our father, handgun perched on the passenger seat, into a sparrow hemmed in a bluebird box. The third feels the story of their mother explaining AA over dollar sundaes is too brittle to be bent into a hummingbird. The first asks, when will our sister be back for more? The brothers know nothing of origami, but everything about erasure, how the moments hang prettier from the ceiling when given feathers, wings. These next poems are from another project I've been working on called My Imaginary Man Poems. And it's kind of like a figure that I've kind of created. It's kind of a conglomerate of different paternal images and so on. But the kind of interesting constraint, not interesting, I shouldn't add that to it, but the constraint I've added to these poems is that they're all decasyllabic, so they have 10-syllable lines. And they also, I don't know if there's a better term, but I call it prismatic, where the clauses and phrases kind of run into each other. So the first 2 lines read, this is a good place to begin. From here, my imaginary old man appears. And that could be read as this is a good place, and that could be the end of the first clause. Then to begin from here, my imaginary old man appears could be another clause. Or it could be, this is a good place to begin from here, and so on. So you'll kind of see it kind of falls over itself. So this, and they don't have titles, so I'll just kind of read the first few lines to kind of signify that I'm going to the next thing. So this one is, this is a good place. This is a good place to begin. From here, my imaginary old man appears. Something beginning here in the event. Beginning is such a thing. For the old man, the doorway is a beginning. The wood porch in peeled paint. The uneven rotted steps. The drive leading to the road. Rumbling over the river following the river past hills leading into where the big sky begins. Surely there's a beginning. Something is perceived first as a shadow, then a bear, then a small child, then bear. The sky is perceived as the ocean, then a small redness. All that begins does so in many ways, which is to say that there is no end to it, which is to say that when nothing happens, he waits for it to begin, whatever it is that is beginning. We are getting closer. Some light falling, some hinge, some door closing softly as if for forever and again forever. This one's called In Dreams There Is Still the Dream. In dreams, there is still the dream where he was different. Everything was the tree. Bent its shadow toward the road, not the river. The lilies pushing up the hill into a mountain hold their tongues. The blind flowers, each lying upon each needing each. No rough hand filching what few white petals. How the bridge did not shake here. The temple is made out of breath, not mud and bricks. He remembers there being a child somewhere off in the periphery, but that is as far as it goes, the dreaming that is still the waking and the living. This one's called The Red Oak Broken. The red oak broken, the yellow lawn broke, the old red brick house broken, juice for all its copper, the red door broken, his room breaks off the end of the hallway he broke, his armchair broke, his hands broken shovels, his shoulders break downward, his breath breaks, a broken pipeline, his 2 ears broken, torches, his eyes crushed white calla lilies, broken, he says, history is something else. His words, torn lemons, his broken burden, the scratched records, his children, broken songbirds, his wives, string and paper cups. Most all was taken from him. Most all was taken from him, his home, his children, the garden, even existence. To say taken is too much. People say somebody, maybe his own old man, made my imaginary old man, but that sounds more terrible than it has to be. People like to think we create ourselves as ourselves. Maybe it was me who made him out of what sticks in mud, stones, song, memory, anything I could scrape up. I have built a tree here. I told it to grow there. Like him, in so many words, I put it next to the house, and inside I placed him a while until he was not. I carved a river behind the house where he was. For those bright times, he was a bridge over the water where he could read, might bathe there. A hill I grew overlooks the setting I set him in. The place I made, sticks, mud, stone, song, memory, every piece I made. A thought comes to me here that he may have made me make it this way, or it was made through me in some way. The tree is for me, so I might know what he looks like, a tree. I'm gonna skip a couple of these. Do I have time for 2 more, or should I just go for 1 more?
Do
2? Actually, I'm gonna do 1 more. That's one you guys wanting more. There's a possibility for more, but I'm denying it.
I like your style.
That's how I work. This one is My Imaginary Old Man is Here. My imaginary old man is here, despite what they say here. He knows he is here. Even the unreal get their own song. The unreal still feel at least their own song. Have worn like an old tree in several directions at once, have drawn into the night as the tree wears. He draws into the night as the song dies behind the tree. He says, if I stay here long, trouble will find me. He says, if I stay, I may never leave. I want to hold time still like stone. I want to hold it down and breathe its feathers in. My imaginary old man himself, a bird like time, his arms held out flying. I follow him, a bird, our mouths, knives, our hands cupping air, wings casting long shadows. They seem to mean something, but they do not. They're only our bird shadows, which seem enough or not enough. If I go now, he says, there might still be time to forget. Soon it will be time to leave, but to where? He is always leaving somewhere. Always he made me how I am. He made me who, if one counts time, we are 3 birds in one. Thank you.